are so many people out there whose air conditioning goes out, right? So the HVAC man comes and they say you need a new air conditioning unit. And so they have to install one, but they don't have money to pay for it. So you need money right away. And this is a solution for you. Quilo loan, it's really cool because you can apply for it in under 3 minutes and you can see your options right away and you can select the terms you want and then get the money right away. So you're able to pay for that HVAC system right away.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think just even knowing that that's available, I think kind of gives a lot of like peace of mind, because I think when you're in that situation, you're like, what the heck do I do? I don't have a bunch of money saved up. You know, I think a lot of people don't have a lot, you know, saved up for those kinds of emergencies. So doing that can be really helpful.
Welcome back to another episode of the Isn't That Rich podcast. I'm your host, Jill Franks, and I'm here with our guest co-host for the day, Jared Gravatt. Welcome, Jared.
Hey, happy to be here.
I'm excited to have you back again. Yeah. So today we are talking about options for personal loans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quilo.
Quilo is the product we carry. Yeah.
Something you probably like hear us talking about at the bank, but I think a lot of people are like, what is even Quilo?
What is a Quilo and why would I want to get a Quilo loan? So when you're shopping for a personal loan, there are just a couple options you think of. Like you can put your big purchase on a credit card or you can take out a loan process. But there's not really a solution for that. You need money today kind of a thing. Like I need money today and I don't have time to go to the bank and get a loan and I don't want to put this big purchase on my credit card. Yeah. So this is a solution that we found. It's called Quilo.
Yeah, it's great. I've kind of been reading more into it and it's perfect for like emergencies and stuff like that. Like what are some maybe examples that you have found that people have like used it for?
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind right now, so it's super hot this week. It's in the 90s, close to 100 degrees, and it's so hot. Yes. And there are so many people out there whose air conditioning goes out, right? So the HVAC man comes and they say you need a new air conditioning unit. And so they have to install one, but they don't have money to pay for it. So you need money right away. And this is a solution for you. Quilo loan, it's really cool because you can apply for it in under 3 minutes and you can see your options right away and you can select the terms you want and then get the money right away. So you're able to pay for that HVAC system right away.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think just even knowing that that's available, I think kind of gives a lot of like peace of mind, because I think when you're in that situation, you're like, what the heck do I do? I don't have a bunch of money saved up. You know, I think a lot of people don't have a lot, you know, saved up for those kinds of emergencies. So doing that can be really helpful.
Yeah, there's a statistic out there. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I love a good statistic. So maybe we'll put it here in the show notes. I don't know. But there was something about like 1 out of every 10 people don't have enough to pay $100 out of their pocket for an emergency. And that's probably not what the statistic is, but I feel like that's close to what it is. Maybe it was like $400 or don't have $600 in their account. There's something like that. But yeah, a lot of people don't have money out of their pocket to pay for their emergencies that come up.
Yeah.
And so I think this is a really great solution. What are some of the other things you could think of?
You know, I know somebody, you know, met with a friend the other day and his mother passed. And so paying for funeral costs and expenses, funerals are so expensive.
They're so expensive.
And I think a lot of people don't think about that for their families even.
Yeah. It helps to have something like this just in case. In your back pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
To use as a solution. And it can be a fun thing too. Like it can be a fun thing to pay for like a vacation. You have a vacation coming up. Maybe there's a cruise that you want to go on and you don't have the money right now, but you can make gradual payments. But it's not something you want to take a loan for. You don't want to put it on a high interest rate credit card.
Right.
That would be another good solution.
Yeah, exactly.
For Quilo.
I know somebody taking one out there's a city grant for like exterior work on their home, and the city's matching like $5,000. And so, you know, they're wanting to kind of use that money to pay, and then basically the city will reimburse. So it's kind of a great way to do, you know, even some like exterior work and repairs on their homes and those kinds of things. So
that's really neat.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah. So I want to talk about exactly what the process is for getting a Quilo loan, because it's really easy and you can do it from your phone in a matter of moments. We kind of already
That's
mentioned
crazy.
that.
I think when you fill out, when you're like, apply for a loan, in my head, I picture like stacks of paperworks and like meetings with people. It's like
proving your income for the past
Yeah.
2 years, right? Like bringing all your pay stubs
25
in.
pay stubs of the last,
No, and I mean, there is some process to it, but it's
Yeah.
nothing like that. You can do it in a matter of moments
That's
on your
crazy.
phone. So it's a little widget on our website. So if you go to myfsb.com, immediately what pops up on the home screen is this little widget in the corner, and that's our Quilo loan application. So this pops up, you click on it, and it walks you through this super 3-step process. And it was really easy. You just fill in the information. I think the questions on it were, number one, what am I using this for? So whether it's your emergency or home repair, like you said, to repair your car or furnish your home. That's another thing. If you're refurnishing your home and you need to buy a couch, put it on a Quilo loan. So it'll ask you what you're using this for first. And so you just select that. And then it will ask you a couple other questions. So your reason for the loan, it'll ask you your credit score. So whether it's good, average, best, better, whatever your credit score is, it'll ask you that. And you just select what range you're under. It'll ask you what your monthly income is. So enter your monthly income. Say you make $2,500 a month, $4,000, $5,000 a month, whatever that is. Type that in there. And then it will ask you what your monthly non-discretionary expenses are. So these are your expenses like your car payment or any other bills, your groceries, anything else you must pay on a regular monthly basis. So those are the simple 4 questions it asks
pretty
you.
straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. And then what's really cool is it brings up this next little section on it. And in that section, it says your loan amount that you qualify for. So you can select it. And it's kind of like on this sliding scale thing. So it's from however much you need for that cause. So say you're making your home repair, it'll say, okay, you can borrow up to $250 all the way up to the amount you qualify for. So it's a sliding range, and say you want to spend all $10,000 that it gives you the option, you can slide that scale up to $10,000, and that's how much you want your loan to be.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is what you can select your monthly payment. Now you can have a really small monthly payment, or you can tackle this loan off in a few months.
Yeah.
So say you don't have it today, but you're expecting a big paycheck to come in. Well, you can say, I want to pay this off in a month.
Yeah.
Select that.
That's what I love about the calculate, how like customizable it is. Cause you're not just like forced to be in a, depending on like what you can do monthly payment wise, you can kind of pick what that looks like, which is really nice.
And that's so different from any other loan out there.
Right.
Too, because you're always kind of not every reason someone gets a loan fits in a box. Like some person doesn't check off every box, right? So not everything is applicable for that. So this gives you a lot more flexibility. The next thing it kind of lists after you enter your information is what your APR is going to be, your annual percentage rate. Yeah. So
Joe, why would I want to go through this avenue versus using my credit card?
Well, because I'm glad we're talking about APR and this, because credit cards tend to have a really high APR, a high interest rate. So I was when I went in last night before we had this, and I did an example of a Quilo loan, what I would qualify for. And I looked at my credit card rate, and my credit card rate is 20.65% right now. And it's a variable rate. So it varies from month to month. So when whatever the market's doing, that's what my credit card rate is going to do. So it's not stuck at a specific rate. So say you sign on to a credit card they're doing a huge promotion and it's like a 0 APR financing, right? You hear that all the time. Well, that's only for a specific amount of time. And then after that, there's flexibility. It might jump up to
Wow.
25%
That's
because it's
crazy.
a variable rate. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so that's another advantage of this too. So you lock in a fixed annual percentage rate with a Quilo loan. Now your rate might, depending on your qualifications and what you qualify for, the rates range from 11.6% up to 19.99 fixed APR for a Quilo loan. So it just depends on where you fit in and what terms you select when you go to do your actual Quilo loan.
So if you do kind of a higher monthly payment, your APR is going to be a little bit lower than if you did kind of a smaller monthly payment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you get to select it.
Yeah.
And so when you're filling out this application, it literally, like I said before, gives you a sliding scale. And so if you want to take 12 months to pay this back, or you want to take 6 months, or if you can pay it back tomorrow or next month when that cash you're expecting to comes in, the ship comes in, right?
Yeah.
Then you can pay it off right away, which is exciting. So the first three things we already talked about. So the loan amount, it gives you the loan amount you qualify for. It gives you what your monthly payment will be. So you can select those two. And then it gives you your APR under those terms. So those are the first three things. The next item it gives you is how fast you want to pay it back. So like I said, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's next month, whether it's a year from now, you get to select those terms.
So Jill, let's say I'm applying for one and I get approved. Do I wait? How long does it take? Do I get it in 6 months, 3 months, couple weeks?
Right. The really cool thing about a Quilo loan is if you qualify and you go through and you take this money out right away, up to $2,500 can be deposited into your account immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty exciting. So say you took out a loan greater than that with a Quilo loan, it usually, the rest of it, the remaining amount shows up, the balance shows up in your account the next day or 2 days later.
Okay.
So you can get this money pretty quickly. So if you're doing a loan for under $2,500, you're going to get that money right away.
And that's like so important because let's say my car broke down, it's in the shop.
Yeah.
And let's say it costs $1,000. I need that money really quick.
Yeah. So it's cool because they take whatever debit card you have. So if you have a checking account set up at a different bank, you can still qualify to do a Quilo loan. We just need it'll ask for your debit card information to attached to that account. So it's kind of like Venmo. When you set up your Venmo, you put in your debit card, it has to connect to a checking account or any other paying service. And that money gets deposited into your account directly through that debit card that's attached to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that $2,500 or however much you select the loan to be goes onto that debit card in your checking account. So it's like cash in your account right away.
Immediately. And would you say it takes like 3 minutes to apply?
The application process is super simple. It takes like 3 minutes to apply. You just have to answer those few questions. And then you select your terms, those 4 or 5 terms we talked about. Mm-hmm. And then you apply for your loan. And then someone will contact you and give you that money. And there's an app out there.
Okay.
So it makes it even more simplified.
Yeah.
You can go on to our phone or our website and fill that out, or you can go onto the app, the Quilo app, and fill it out too. And it's so easy.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds extremely easy.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how easy it can be to get, personal loan like that.
Yeah. Now, if you're using this to pay off credit card debt, it might take a couple of days. So it typically posts on the second business day if you're paying off your credit card debt with this. But you can wait for 2 days.
Yeah, that's still really fast.
Yeah, it's still super fast. Yeah, and it can be applied directly into that credit card account. You don't have to have it deposited to your debit card or your checking account and then pay it. It can go directly to the credit card payment.
That's awesome.
So this is something really cool that we didn't mention yet. So you can apply for a Quilo loan. You can enter all your information. You can see your terms, and it doesn't affect your actual credit or do a hard pull like we've talked in episodes previously until you actually accept the money. So that's another good thing. So you can see how much up to $15,000 is what a Quilo loan goes for, or that will lend out with a Quilo loan, but you can see what you can qualify for.
Yeah, because I think that's such like a common fear when you're applying for a loan. Like, you don't want it to ding your credit, especially if you're not going to take it out. So to know it's not going to do that's really nice.
Yeah, you want to weigh your options before you make any big decisions. So this enables you to see everything you're agreeing to before you actually take action on anything. Yeah. And so then once you do take action, you get the money out, that's when they do a hard pull on your credit. So that's when it would. Okay. So then it would affect a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty great product, really. I want to talk about the fine print because it seems too good to be true.
Everybody wants to know what the fine print is, right? when you talk about how great it is.
So this is obviously all Quilo offers are subject to credit approval. So you have to be approved. So even if you see what you could qualify for, your loan still has to be approved. So there's a bit of that process. So after you do that, it takes a couple minutes, but then you get the answer to your question, yes or no, within 3 minutes, which is pretty great. Yeah. So it's really quick process, but you still might get turned down because the bank has final approval. Yeah. Yeah. So
seems understandable.
Yeah. But the really great thing is there's no fees to apply. There's no application fee, which a lot of loans do have an application fee of at least a couple $100. There's no fees to apply to a Quilo loan, which is pretty great.
Yeah, it is great.
You can take a loan out between $250 and $15,000. So a Quilo loan ranges from $250 to $15,000. So if you need more than that, it might be worth it looking at a different type of personal loan. Mm-hmm. But for those that this fits under, it's a great option. Yeah. It's a fixed installment personal loan, so not variable rate. It's going to be fixed. And the amount of monthly installment includes your principal and interest. So the interest does get, just like a typical loan, you pay interest every month. This is kind of thing we already kind of talked about, but larger terms and larger loans may result in a higher APR. So if you choose to extend your loan payment out for a longer period of time, your interest rate might be higher than if you were to shorten that term.
Yeah. I mean, all loans are like that. I mean, I think that's super expected.
Yeah, for sure. Even a home loan, like if you did a 30-year versus a 15-year, your APR is going to be lower on a 15-year loan than it is a 30. You know what your fixed monthly installment and interest is up front. So that's a huge benefit. Mm-hmm. Your fixed monthly installment does not change over the term of the loan, and there are no fees or prepayment penalties. That's huge.
It is big.
So say you agreed to terms that you wanted to pay this over 6 months, and you come into some money this month and you want to pay it all off. There's no prepayment penalty to pay the entire thing off in 1 month.
That's super important to know, I think, because a lot of people have that kind of fear of like, well, I don't want to be stuck in this for a long time. You know, ideally, when it's a small loan like this, you do want to just pay it off early. So to know that there's not like a fee or penalty is pretty nice.
Yeah, it really is. That's kind of it in a nutshell. Yeah. That's Quilo Loans. It's easy, it's quick and simple and free to apply.
Yeah. And the fine print, super understandable. Nothing. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Straightforward loan, personal loan.
Yeah. So honestly, if you need any kind of small loan, I know a lot of people are doing summer projects on their houses and stuff like that. This is I think it's a great option.
Yeah. Yeah. An alternative to high interest credit cards for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Thanks for sitting with me on this podcast, Jared. We'll see you next week.
So Jill, where do we go from here?
Be sure to check out our show notes for this episode, and also be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.